BBC is putting out a warning now before listening to this programme.
Adult, audiences only.
Or the red button, which of course people are unable to see Weekend Wogan on, although we tell them they can. No, they can't. No.
We tried, I think, last week. Didn't we try last week to see on the red button and it didn't work?
No, it doesn't.
No, it did work.
It's the BBC. Right. Yes. Janet and John go to the sports centre.
Ooh, that's unlikely.
Janet goes to the sports centre twice a week for her kendo classes. Do you know what kendo is? John doesn't. John thinks that kendo is a type of Japanese coffee. Silly John.
It's a food mixer.
John puts his sparkly green shell suit on with gold piping, bright yellow trainers, and his best Dora the Explorer sports bag. John is a dandy. Janet puts her armour in the car and tells John to hurry up. See Janet strap John into his safety seat in the car. Janet says, "As it's raining today, did you remember to pack your coloured book and pencils so you've something to do while I'm in the class?"
You look very attractive when you do that.
More attractive than Janet?
Well...
No, come on. "Yes, I did," says John. When they get to the sports centre, Janet unpacks her armour and says, "I'll see you in the cafe in an hour. Do try and behave." "I will," says John. While John is watching one of the aerobics classes from the foyer, he sees Mrs. Wallace. "Hello, John," says Mrs. Wallace. "Are you here for the over-60s fitness class?"
"No," says John. I get all hot and sweaty, and I've just washed and curled my hair."
Mrs. Wallace says, "Perhaps you'd like to have a look around the gym. Exercise is very good for people of all ages. Here is Mrs. Cornwell, who takes the classes now. I'm sure she'd be able to suggest some exercises you might enjoy. Do you know how to look skeptical?" John does. When they get to the gym, Mrs. Cornwell says, "Do you manage to do any regular exercise, John?" John says,
"I sometimes play on the swings and climbing frame. But it's too wet today."
Mrs. Cornwell says, "All the ladies here like to see men with a bit of muscle. Let me show you some of the machines we use. This one is very good for exercising your deltoids, John. Do you know what deltoids are?"
John says, "Yes. But I'm not allowed to watch Doctor Who in case I get nightmares and wet the bed."
Mrs. Cornwell says, "The pull-up machines are very good for your triceps. I'm going to get changed. You can watch Mrs. Wallace using the dumbbells to do arm exercise called curls."
John says, "I'll have some heated rollers that do mine."
Mrs. Wallace says, oh God, it's Mrs. Wallace again. "Mrs. Wallace, I always look forward to my gym sessions. It's a nice feeling afterwards when your muscles are pumped up. I try to get at least 2 sessions a week or 3 if I can get someone to hold the fort at work." Soon it's time for John to meet Janet. See John wave goodbye to the ladies and hop and skip back to the cafe. And when Janet arrived, she said, "Did you behave, John?"
"Yes," says John. "I saw Mrs. Wallace. She said I should go with her to see Mrs. Cornwell, as it might be good for me. Mrs. Cornwell showed me her pull-ups. And while she was getting changed, I saw Mrs. Wallace's curls. She said she always looks forward to getting pumped and comes at least twice a week or 3 times if she can get someone to cover her."
Oh, dear.
Mrs. Cornwell said I should come back regularly, as all the ladies like to see a man with a big chest and love muscle.
And love muscle.
Love muscle. Dear God.
See Janet fetch her wooden practice sword. See John run.